Hi, I'm a bit nervous to read for you, but hopefully you'll enjoy it and laugh a little bit. That would be good, otherwise you'll think it's crap, and I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so let's start. Need my Pepsi Max. Okay. Most girls find that their life changes when they hit the age of about 13. I suppose it's puberty and all that good stuff, but for me, that life-changing defining moment came in a much bigger package than a tampon and some sympathy. Yes, not only did I reach the age of sexual enlightenment, but as an added bonus, I also received a 5'3" ditz of a stepmother. Of course, she wasn't technically my stepmom at that point. No, back then she was just Trisha, my dad's girlfriend. I remember the first time I met her. She was sitting at our kitchen table, stroking my dad's hand like he was a little dog of some sort. Looking back on it, there was a very similar resemblance to Paris Hilton and her little chihuahuas. Mostly because from the first moment my dad laid eyes on her, he was hooked like a lovesick puppy. Seriously, Mike, she told him, you have no clue the wonders that yoga and a good cleansing tonic can bring. It'll take years off your life. And then, of course, she'd spotted me, smiling a very fake, cheesy grin, and then stood up from the table to formally introduce herself. Oh, you're just the cutest little thing, Mike, why didn't you tell me how cute she really is? She's a little angel. Even at 13, I was old enough to roll my eyes at this. I didn't even know the woman, and here she was running over to hug me senseless. Of course, at 13, I didn't have the guts to pull away and scream like I inwardly wanted to do, which now I know was a mistake, because it was my reaction to her appearance in our lives that kick-started their whole serious relationship anyway. Trisha was a firm believer in fate and karma, and as she sat at our table that night explaining to my father all about what good vibes she got, she also managed to convince him that my reaction and ability to hug her back meant that I had accepted her as part of our family, and there all signs pointed that they were meant to be. I don't know when my dad became such a fool. It was probably around the time my mother left him. Granted, at least seeing him with Trisha was better than seeing him depressed and locked in his room. She'd saved him. I resented her for it, but in the same instance, I guess I was thankful. At least after her arrival, we sort of managed to become a family. A messed up family, but one nonetheless. Sorry, new page. Go up. Hang on. And everything was going well, or at least as well as things can go when your stepmother is a health-obsessed, yoga-doing hippie Fruit Loop. But that I could deal with. What came next, though, I didn't see coming. She had a son. He'd been mentioned before. In fact, I even slightly remember him being at the wedding. Of course, at that point, I was too busy mourning the end of my world to pay attention to the spawn of the devil's son. Yes, I was bitter. I was a bitter young thing, but at that point I wasn't quite over the fact that my mother had run off with her boss to start a new life. Did I mention that her boss was a woman? Yeah, see, a little much for a 13-year-old to deal with. But deal I did, and forget the past I also did. That was until about a week ago when Trisha announced that her son, the ever-elusive Adam, was apparently just the greatest thing to walk the planet. Let me start again. But deal I did, and forget the past I also did. That was until about a week ago when Trisha announced that her son, the ever-elusive Adam, who was apparently just the greatest thing to walk the earth, was coming home to live with her again, which in turn meant he was coming to live with all of us. As in, one more person to share my personal space with, and one more person to annoy me with all that hippie shit. Seriously, I was 18. I don't understand why my dad didn't just let me move in with my boyfriend Pete when I'd gotten the chance. I was going to go to college in a matter of months. I was an adult. Apparently not adult enough though, because here I am stuck at home at the start of the summer while my friends go to Cabo. You should have heard the shitstorm I got when I told them I couldn't go because my stepbrother was moving in. Seriously, why did he need me anyway? It's not like we were going to be friends. No, I'd had enough grass-eating, tree-hugging, cow-loving groupies in my life. No more. Eve, sweetie, can you help me for a minute? Yeah, that's right. Remember that meant to be karma stuff? It was an unjust bitch. Can you just wait a second? I yelled as I slipped on my heels and took a long, hard look in the mirror. Maybe if I just humoured him and showed him around for a day or so, my dad would let me fly up to Cabo Lake. I've just got to be good and welcoming for this little bit, and then that'll show them. My chee's starting to fizzle, she yelled at me, making a frustrated whining noise at the end of it. Her chi was nowhere near as active as she made it out to be. Seriously, cheese don't do shit at all. I finally walked out and across the hall to Adam's new room, aka the study, where of course she was doing something utterly ridiculous. I got him this dream catcher at the market on Saturday. Don't you think it's just darling? I merely nodded and bit back a laugh. How can I help you? I need you to hold this chair up while I hang it above his bed. That way I don't slip. I raised an eyebrow, giving her a pointed look. You do know you could just stand on the bed and do it that way. Apparently she didn't. But once I'd mentioned that, she leaped off the chair and hugged me, kissing my forehead with her bright pink gloss lips. See, this is why I need you around, Evie. You have so much smarts in that head of yours, pointing out what no one else would ever see. I'm so lucky to have such a brilliant daughter. I wanted to point out to her that while I was incredibly smart, that was just common sense, and that anyone with half a brain would probably worked out also. I also wanted to tell her that calling me her daughter was uncomfortable and annoying, but I'd learnt my lesson on that one a few years ago after a night of her crying and moping around because I'd yelled. It was easier just to play along with Trisha and pretend to adore her. She was a lot more bearable that way. Here we go. We're home, my dad called out loudly, which only resulted in Trisha screaming and running out of the room in a tizzy. My baby, she wailed, obviously turning into the devoted mother that she'd always dreamed of being. Oh, Adam, I can't believe you are here. Look at you, so handsome, so tall. This is just wonderful. You are going to have the best time here. We're so excited for you. Me and Eve were just decorating your room for your return. I rolled my eyes. Decorating his room? Yeah, right. It was just pointing out what should have been common sense. If I was decorating his room, I would have put a huge poster over his bed saying, "Go back to where you came from." Then again, I suppose that wouldn't have been the best welcoming decoration to come into. I groaned, closing my eyes and counting to 5 in my head slowly. Counting relaxed me, made me feel in control, gave me something to do to ease my stress. You can do this, I whispered to myself, leaving his room and going out towards the kitchen to meet my new, exciting cow-tipping housemate. Hey, sorry, I started as I rounded into the kitchen, but that was all I got out. Nothing else would come. My words were gone as soon as I looked into the eyes of probably the most good-looking, sexy guy I'd ever seen in my life. It was like he'd stepped out of the pages of a magazine. Black leather jacket, tight in all the right places, and these piercing blue eyes that shot right into my soul the second they fell on me. Matched with black hair sticking up all over the place, almost like he'd just been busy having some girl run her fingers through it. Heck, I wouldn't mind running my fingers through it. Eve, this is Adam. Adam, this is Eve. Ah, how cute does that sound? Trisha yelled, running towards me and pushing my back until I was unwillingly moving forward to him. Hi, I mumbled, a slight blush tinting on my cheeks. Sup, he said with a nod, not really seeming all that excited to see me either. Adam is in his first year of college, Eve. He's studying at Northwestern. Isn't that cool? My dad cut in. Yep, I nodded, still looking him up and down, much the same way he was now doing with me. His eyes pierced into me, scaling me up and down with an intensity I'd never felt before. My clothes were tightening with each ice blue glance, and my dress, which I'd been sure was only up to my mid-thigh when I got it, suddenly felt like it was falling apart at the seams. The way he looked at me, it was like he was seeing me naked, looking deeper into me than anyone ever had before, and it was unnerving, unnatural, and totally fucking hot. Well, aren't you too talkative? Trisha giggled, now pushing me closer. Eve, why don't you go show Adam to his room while me and your father get his stuff out of the trunk? I sighed and rolled my eyes a little, nodding at him to follow me. He did, not really giving anything away on his face as he shadowed me down the hall. Bathrooms there, lounge rooms there, pool tables through that door. That's their bedroom, and at the end of the hall, bathrooms there, lounge rooms there, pool tables through that door. That's their bedroom at the end of the hall, and then up the stairs here is mine and yours. We walked up the stairs, curving around at the top of the spiral staircase. Your room would be the one with the dream catcher half hanging off your curtain. I smirked to him and rolled my eyes, opening the door to his room for him. Again he nodded, not saying too much, all brooding and quiet. I shrugged, shaking my head at the pure luck of having a fucking hot stepbrother, only to find he was too shy to speak. We share a bathroom. I've left you some drawers to put your... New page. To put your Stuff in, but if you leave the toilet seat up, I swear to God I'll have you share a bathroom with your mother. He smirked at that, opening his mouth to say something before pulling it back in at the last minute. Why do you do that? I asked, unable to stand in being so quiet. Do what? That, I motioned, pointing to him obviously. That what? Breathing? He seemed amused, a small turn of his lips at each corner tugging into a smirk. That's just a natural human occurrence. I would have thought Mike's Ivy League bound daughter would know. I would have thought Mike's Ivy League bound daughter would know that. I do know that. I'm not an idiot. He raised an eyebrow, a cocky grin written all over his face. Look, I'm about to be pre-ned. I know what fucking breathing is, and that wasn't what I was referring to, as you full well know. He laughed then, a sound so manly and smooth falling from his lips, his eyes crinkling with each chuckle. Yeah, with the way you were staring at me, it was pretty clear you saw a lot more than just my chest rising and falling. I grunted, taking a step forward. Please, you wish. If my eyes lingered on you for more than a second, it was in shock that you weren't wearing a burlap sack and that you didn't have a piece of straw between your teeth. He smirked wider, looking me up and down. Is that what you wanted, Eve? A real man with some straw? Maybe a man with some personality, I muttered, turning from him and walking towards the door. On the contrary, I have an incredible personality. Plenty of people have said so. Who, your mum? Newsflash, she thinks the sunflowers in the gardens have personality. Fuck, she thinks her damn chi is a living, breathing, emotive thing. You're a cranky little thing, aren't you, Eve? No. Whatever. He smirked and took a step forwards, his height towering a few centimetres over my own. Well, sis, he emphasised sis, putting his warm, rough, callous finger on my shoulder. Tingles. I can see I'm going to have fun with you. God, why did that sound so dirty and so right at the same time? I huffed and shook my braid over my shoulder, turning to walk out of the room. I think that's it. Oh, no, sorry. The only fun you'll be getting is with your left hand, I commented before walking back to my room and shutting the door behind me. Once I was inside safely, I turned and leant against the back of the door, breathing deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why did he have to be so good looking? Fucking karma. Dun dun! And that's the end. And that was the 12-minute reading. And I'm sorry if I screwed it up, but I get a bit excited when I'm reading and then I lose my place. So yes, that was Adam and Eve. And I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, I love you. Bye.